This just in, Caleb Wilson, he's real good at basketball.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Welcome in to this live postcast edition of the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every day and immediately after every basketball and football game. You're joining me at the place to be here for the Tar Heels, and we want to thank you for being here. Special shout out to all the everydayers, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course our insiders as well. Great to be with you all. Carolina, exhibition game against Winston-Salem State. They come away with a 95-53 victory. Once again, no Luka Bogavac in this one. He's sitting on the bench. So Carolina had the same starters in this game as they did Friday night against BYU with Kyan Evans, Seth Trimble, Jarin Stevenson, Caleb Wilson, and Henry Vasar. Aside from an offensive lull in the first half, a relatively strong performance in a game where you're just looking to try stuff, get stuff figured out against an overmatched opponent. And then on Monday, it is for real. They start counting. And what's today? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That is 5 days away. Get ready. By the way, right after we do this live postcast, Coach Rob and I are going to record Thursday's show so we can get his takes from the exhibition game. So you're going to get me live right now, as well as, hey, what's up to all of those of you who are listening in later after the fact. And then tomorrow's show, you will get Coach Rob and I talking about this thing as well. If you're new to our live postcast, here's what we do. Just a whole bunch of takeaways from the game, some big picture, some, unique to this thing, some personnel, some stats, other stuff. We'll put up the box score here eventually. And then at the end of the show, I'll go take some questions and observations from you guys as well. So if you're joining us and you got questions for me, drop them into the chat over there and I'll hop in with you later for that. Ain't nowhere else we can start than Caleb Wilson. And it's funny that literally today's Locked On Tar Heels show was my bold prediction episode. And my first bold prediction, Caleb Wilson, ACC Player of the Year. And bold predictions are intended to be a little bit out of the reach, right? Like they shouldn't be the thing that's expected to happen. They should be unexpected to happen. But they're also not wild and crazy and impossible, right? Like greater than 0% chance. And Caleb Wilson, look, yes, it's Winston-Salem State. I get it. But back-to-back double-doubles for Caleb Wilson in both of Carolina's exhibition games. He is everywhere on both ends of the floor. This is Seth Trimble's team, but Caleb Wilson is going to be your leading scorer. After watching this thing and Henry Vasar getting one rebound, Caleb Wilson is going to be your leading rebounder. I'm not saying he's going to lead Carolina in all 5 statistical categories, but he's probably going to be Carolina's leading scorer, rebounder, and shot blocker. Steals and assists TBD. I would imagine Kyan Evans is going to lead the team in assists. Who led the team in assists tonight? 15 assists on 33 made baskets with Zayden High had the most assists in this game. What do you know? That was 3. A whole bunch of other guys had 2. Just a sign of Carolina sharing the ball, which they did so well. I'm really curious to ask Coach Rob about the ball movement that Carolina had. In fact, I'm going to scroll up on my notes and make a note about that. Ask Coach Rob about ball movement. That way we won't forget to do that later. But very seriously, let's talk Caleb Wilson, because this dude just comes in and is different. He is playing at a different level than any Carolina freshman we've seen since Kobe White. All due respect to Ian Jackson last year, Drake Powell last year, Cole Anthony in the 2019-20 season. Caleb is it, man. He is the truth. He's a dude. In the first half, he had 17 points and 6 boards on 7 of 10 shooting, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 1 assist, no turnovers, 2 blocks, and a steal for the game. Another double-double, 23 and 10. Yet again, 4 offensive rebounds, just like he had against BYU. 9 of 13 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, perfect at the line, 5 of 5. I love him mixing it up and getting to the line. And so far, he's been really good at the free throw line. I think he was 3 of 5 against BYU, if I remember correctly. Again, the 2 misses were right after he got shaken up, so whatever. 2 assists, 1 turnover in the game, 3 blocks, just like BYU, and a steal. Caleb Wilson is a stat stuffer. He is everywhere, and I am in love with this young man's basketball capability. I mean, like, the move that he had with like a minute to go just before halftime, the pivot, his ability to move under the basket, get out from under it, pivot and not travel, get up, finish, and one. I mean, it's fun. You guys just enjoy Caleb Wilson while he's here. Because usually, within a game or two, if a freshman is one and done, oh, Caleb's one and done. And it's not just one and done. Now the conversation is like second round, first round, or lottery. And if nothing changes of what we're seeing right now, this dude's a lottery pick next July or next June, whenever it is, man. I'm just telling you right now. And by the way, would have had so many more stats in this game were it not for, it's an exhibition against a D2 school, and they pulled the starters at the under 8 of the second half, and he never came back in. So there's all that. I love it. That said, one of massive bummer, Luka Bogavac's not playing for this team. Like, that's a massive, it sucks. But Jarin Stevenson is getting a chance to show the North Carolina Tar Heel fan base, and quite frankly, the nation, what he is capable of. Because remember, this dude was a 31% shooter from beyond the arc at Alabama in his 2 years there. And he is a better shooter than those numbers tell you. And you've seen that now both in the BYU game and tonight against Winston-Salem State, where he finishes 11 points, 6 boards, 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 1 of 3 from the free throw line. That's his big bugaboo, and 2 blocks. Like, that's one of the things, like, if Carolina is late game situation, it's going to be hard to keep Jarin Stevenson on the floor because he's not a good free throw shooter. That could be an issue. Now, if you're able to play, if it's one of those situations where you're able to play offense, defense, you want him in on defense because he's great, but he's got to be ready to get a rebound and get it to Evans or Bogavac or, one of those kind of things. The nation, and probably most of us, are heavily sleeping on what Jarin Stevenson will offer to this team, and I'm very encouraged by that, including his 3-point shooting, which, by the way, remember Carolina, both Carolina and BYU, awful from beyond the arc on Friday night. No other way to sugarcoat that. They were just bad. The question was, would they be better tonight? In the first half, they were not. 3 of 12, if I remember correctly. Let's look at the box score here. Yes, 3 of 12 from 3 in the first half. That means that in the second half, they were 9 of 20, 45%. Now, multiple of those are like the end of the game. You're just chucking up some threes and whatever. When it mattered, Carolina was blistering from beyond the arc in the second half. In totality, Carolina 12 of 32, 37.5%. And when you look at it, Kyan Evans 2 of 4, Seth was 0 of 1, Caleb 0 of 2, Henry Vasar had that beautiful top of the key trailing 3. He was 1 of 1. We already said Jarin 2 of 3, Zayden High hit 1 of 2, Derek Dixon 1 of 4, Jaden Young 3 of 6. I mean, and those 3 were like in quick succession there. Isaiah Dennis 0 of 1, Elijah Davis 0 of 2. Oh, poor Elijah. He's coach's son. We love him. And Jonathan Powell, 2 of 6. And that's a moment to say as well. I talked about Carolina's assists and how nobody had more than 3. What I love from what I've seen from this team so far is that the ball does not stick. Multiple possessions in this game where the ball just floated and flitted around the outside the arc, one of which resulted in one of those Jonathan Powell threes. And I mean, this team clearly wants to get not just a good shot, but a great shot. Nobody wants the ball to stick with them. They are moving it inside out. You might see I've seen a little bit of that with Caleb Wilson so far, where I'm not going to say he's like a black hole. He's just figuring that out still, I think Caleb is. Whereas everyone else has that savvy, man, and the ball is moving in a big way. And so, yes, Carolina much better from 3 in this game than they were on Friday night at BYU, and that's an encouraging sign to see as well. Now, On today's show, on today's Locked On Tar Heels, I gave you the what to watch for this game, including Carolina cutting down on turnovers, being dogs, and locking down defensively. And I needed to see better production from the backup fives. How did that go? I'd love to answer those questions for you coming up here in just a second. Right after I tell you about Mazda, who crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anybody else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, man, athletes sweat all the details. And Mazda, they bring that same level of intentionality to how they craft every single model. You can truly feel that incredible Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents all the way to the available Nappa leather upholstery. And with all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Because with Mazda, everyday drives feel like anything but, from the smooth handling all the way to the intuitive controls and everything in between. So like all our Tar Heel athletes, Mazda sweats every detail. Because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. As we come back together, for those of you watching in real time, I'm going to pull up the box score so you can see that. For those of you who are listening back later, you can pull it up on my Twitter feed or elsewhere and see it there. As I said, I want to get into the what to watch for that we had for this game. And then I also want to talk about one of the things I'm always watching for in exhibitions is wrinkles. What's the team doing that they may not typically do, or that they may be trying out or testing out for the season ahead? And that's why I love playing the BYU game, but I also enjoy having a game against an overmatched opponent so you can do exactly that. Let's start, though, with the what to watch for before we get there. Number one, Carolina had to cut down on turnovers. 19 of them against BYU. If I remember the split, it was 11 in the first half, 8 in the second. In this game, a little bit sloppy to start out, or in that offensive lull, at least. 7 first half turnovers, but the Tar Heels, just 3 in the second half. And that includes when they're just, the second unit was in the game for the whole, everything after the under 8-minute timeout. Just 3 turnovers in the second half. Let's see who those were attributed to, by the way. Second half turnovers, 1 to Caleb Wilson, 1 to James Brown, and 1 to Ivan Matlekovic is the correct pronunciation, by the way, of his last name. And so there's that. There were 2 players that had multiple turnovers. That was Seth with 2 and Henry Vasar with 2. Nobody had more than 2 turnovers, and everyone else had 1 or fewer turnovers. That is an encouraging sign, especially like I hear those of you saying to me, Isaac, it's Winston-Salem State. Of course, they're not going to have many turnovers. I wholeheartedly disagree with that type of thinking. You know why? Because this is the type of game where teams that are unserious throw the ball around even more, because they're like, oop-a-doop-a-doo, what are we going to do? Let's twiddle our thumbs. And then the ball just goes wacky. So I had said it on today's show. My hope was that Carolina could sit at between 10 to 15 turnovers in this game. And they did me the best they could on the low side of that, getting 10. So encouraged by that. And then again, what I want to see is that cut down even further against Central Arkansas on Monday night when the regular season kicks off. Can you get in that 5 to 10 range? That would be great. If it's 10 to 15, can live with that. But I'd love a 5 to 10 sort of situation. So cut down on turnovers, check mark. Nice job, Tar Heels. Number 2, I wanted to see these Tar Heels locked down defensively. Could they be willing, again, against an overmatched opponent, to do that? And the answer was clearly yes. I think it was Joel James on the broadcast that, or was it Matt? I can't remember which of the 2 of them said it, but I loved how they put it. These Tar Heels are passionate about defense. You could see that right out of the gate in this game and throughout. Now, again, North Carolina, taller, bigger, more length, all of that than Winston-Salem State. I hear it. But that doesn't mean you're going to be locked in defensively just because you're bigger. In fact, sometimes that means you're like, whatever, have fun. This team is locked in defensively. They care about it. Each of those first couple possessions of the game, you go back and watch those where they're fighting, they're scrambling, they're staying in front, doing what they got to do. Shot clock violation on the second defensive possession of the game, blocking shots, getting down into it. I just really encouraged by that. the Rams didn't score until there was 14-13 left in the first half, and they didn't get to double digits till 11 minutes into this thing. And then, the lid came off and they started scoring some, and that's fine, whatever. It wound up with 53 points, but so much of that is you just, especially as the walk-ons come in and all that kind of stuff, it's like, whatever, you stop paying attention. But held Winston-Salem to 28% from the field. I don't care who your opponent is. It's another collegiate basketball team, 28%, 20 of 71. They were 6 of 16 from beyond the arc, 37.5%, just like the Tar Heels were. You'd like to see that be a little better, but fine, whatever. And the other part of this is coming out of the BYU game. One of the things I said is Carolina needed to defend without fouling more capably. Just 9 free throw attempts for Winston-Salem State in this game. Carolina as a team committed 14 fouls. And so cut down on that. Nobody had more than 2. All of that is an encouraging sign. Carolina was bought in and locked in defensively, and that is a big encouragement to me. And that kind of flows into what to watch for. Point number 3 is in totality, not just defensively, but in total. Who is locked into this game? Who is ready to go? Who is ready to be a competitor regardless of opponent? I think clearly and obviously Caleb Wilson leads the charge in that. But Seth Trimble, man, he had a stretch where he hit several free throws. By the way, Carolina struggled at the free throw line, like 8 of 14 in the first half. What did they finish with? Let's see. Home stats, free throws, 17 of 25, 68%. That's got to be better. Okay, sorry, quick side tangent there. Who were the major culprits of that also while we're looking at it? Seth was 4 of 6, 1 of 3 for Henry, 1 of 3 for Jarin, 5 of 6 for Zayden. So nobody was really egregious, just a bunch of dudes missing free throws, at least 1 or 2, right? Anyway, Seth locked in, man. You saw his athleticism on both ends of the floor, getting down and doing it. Zayden High, and we'll talk about him more literally in the next point, but man, very active in this game. I feel like Carolina as a team, there was the initial urgency. Maybe that's a good word to use there. And then I think that offensive lull was Carolina relaxing a little bit at that point. That was the concern of this game in terms of who locks in despite a lesser talented opponent. And then you saw a little flurry again before halftime. They pushed the lead back out. But then the second half, Carolina was like, all right, we got to put this thing away. No more goofing around, silly, whatever. Like, got to be completely locked in. And they were. Pedal to the metal. Then I thought essentially the entirety of the second half. Didn't matter who was in. They were in and going. So again, aside from that lull in the first half, I thought Carolina did well with this third one. Who locks in despite an overmatched opponent? And then number 4 in our what to watch for, had to have better production from the backup 5s. In Zayden High in particular, because it, again, feels like he is ahead of James Brown in the pecking order. Joel James said more about that on the broadcast, was talking about how everything Zayden's been doing in practice. Obviously, Joel is there a lot watching, and so that's good to be aware of. And so I was curious, could Zayden settle in more tonight against Winston-Salem State than he did against BYU, where he just felt like he was out of control, and it's just like, it's his first game back in a long time. This tonight felt more like a basketball player with energy and aggressiveness, but kind of was able to get to the edge there. Perhaps the thing I love most that Zayden High did in this game is those 3, I said he led the team in assists. Each one of those was a big-to-big assist. So now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually quite obvious because I've got them all in my notes. He had a back-to-back, a big-to-big, over the top to Vasar for a dunk. He had another nice entry in the second half. That was a Jarin Stevenson bucket. This is going to be interesting because it's all 3 to different guys. And another one late in the second half for a James Brown layup. So 3 assists from Zayden High to lead the team, all over the top as his other big in the game had their defender sealed behind them. He was able to go over the top and then a nice easy look or dunk for the other big in the game. Zayden High, if you can come in and do that every game, you are going to have minutes all season long. His form from beyond the arc looks good. I love that there was no hesitation there. I believe, let me go back and double check, second leading rebounder behind Caleb Wilson. He had 7 of them. Next was Jarin Stevenson had 6. And after that, it was both James Brown and Jonathan Powell with 4. So Look, Zayden High, much better in this game, man. That's what I need to see from him all the time. Carolina needs that type of production from Zayden High. Keep going. The other thing I said is I'm always looking at an exhibition. What are the wrinkles that you get? What is the stuff you're trying out, testing out, maybe something new that you're showing that it's like, hey, we're going to do this season and we want to see. Coach Rob, I can hear it as clear as day, begged all year last year leading up to the season and during it. I want to see the Tar Heels press. They've got the athleticism, they've got the depth to be able to do it, and I think it could be helpful. One of the things we were chatting about in the Locked On Tar Heels Discord during the game, by the way, that link's in the show notes, is that it felt like last year Coach Davis would use pressure when Carolina got down and they needed to make a run. And so the way I look at it is last year Carolina used pressure as a reaction rather than being proactive. My goal for the Tar Heels is to use pressure proactively rather than reactively. Does that make sense? So it's like when you don't need to pressure. And tonight, we saw that right out of the gate. First points of the game were a Henry Vesar going 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. Boom, Kyan Evans applying full court pressure, single coverage. Made bucket right after that. I can't remember who it was. Let's say it's Caleb Wilson because he made a lot of them. Again, Kyan Evans, single coverage. We saw so much of that right out of the gate in this game. Lots of possessions. In other moments of the game, Carolina as a team applied whole court pressure, not just the lead guard, whomever was in. Was Carolina just trying that out? Were they just testing it out? Or is that something this year we will actually see more of? And maybe so, because I think Coach Davis knows that he's got more depth. 10 rotation players looked like they could get some minutes in this game. Maybe not so much like James Brown, for example. But again, remember, all of that is without Luka, who's sitting over there in street clothes for this game. So be encouraged by all of that. The thing to be discouraged about is Henry Vesar. Carolina as not Henry Vesar in totality, Henry Vesar, the rebounder. Because Henry for the game, 10 points on a very efficient 4 of 5 shooting, 1 of 1 from 3, 1 of 3 at the free throw line. So that means, wow, I'm just bringing this together in my head. The starting 3, 4, and 5 for this game, Caleb Wilson, Henry Vesar, Jarin Stevenson, scored a combined 44 points out of Carolina's 95. And they went, man, I'm going to have to get out the calculator in real time. Bear with me, everybody. Caleb Wilson, 9 of 13. Henry Vesar, 4 of 5. Jarin Stevenson, 4 of 5. So 9 and 8 is 17 and 23. Holy smokes. The combination, y'all, in real time, I'm realizing this. The combination of Caleb Wilson, Henry Vesar, and Jarin Stevenson shot a combined 73.9% in this game. Now, again, they had superior size. Overwhelmingly superior size. But this is not the only time this season that's going to be a reality. Carolina they went out and got big on purpose. So now you got to use it. And this is an example of exactly that. Oh my word. A combined 17 of 23 for the field for Carolina starting 3, 4, and 5 of this game. Baby. Okay, there are currently 133 comments over there in the chat. I want to find out what you're saying, what questions you have, observations. Can't get to all of them, obviously, but I'd love to get to quite a few of them, answer them, and then we'll save the rest. Maybe Coach Rob and I can answer some on Thursday's show as well. So we're going to take one more break, and then we'll get to you guys in just a second. Right after I tell you about our good friends at Peloton, who is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, which is powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. So whether you're running, cross-training, lifting, whatever it is, you can do it with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined, y'all. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan and stay motivated and reach your peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. And boy, do I need that. It tracks your reps, it suggests the right weights, and it corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. In fact, as I read adjust your form, I literally straightened up and got better posture and started pumping some weight. The personalized class recommendations, man, they keep you engaged. You get workouts tailored to your vibe and energy level every week. So let yourself run and lift and flex and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus app today at onepeloton.com. All right, y'all, good to be here together tonight, pumping out this game. Carolina, again, 95-53 over Winston-Salem State. I'm going to leave the box score up for those of you watching. It's a great time to say hashtag free Luka. I hope you all saw my bobblehead today. I should have brought it with me to have on the podcast. I'm going to start doing a daily short of hashtag free Luka. I made a little bobblehead Luka out of my Justin Timberlake bobblehead doll, and we're going to do a daily short until Luka is free to play. So spam the comments with hashtag free Luka. Do it right now. All right, let's get into this thing. Sam Gonzalez, nice summary of what I said. I liked the defensive intensity, but not the sloppy turnovers and free throws in the first half. Still a lot to clean up, but overall encouraging. And quite frankly, that's where you want to be at this point in the preseason. You're playing exhibition games, you're trying stuff, you're, whatever. But yeah, there were some sloppy turnovers in the first half that you want to see cleaned up. Yeah, Carolina was bad from the free throw line in the game, and in particular in the first half where they were 8 of 14. That's got to be better. But very encouraging overall, to the point that the very next comment in the comments is from A+ family, or maybe it's A+ family. Maybe that's your last name, but I kind of hope it's A+, but that you can say A+, because that makes you guys a cool family. A+. Says this: people should probably quit sleeping on UNC. They are a lot better than some people are saying. Here's the thing. I'm going to get rid of the box score while I say this because I want everyone to hear me nice and loud and clear. Let them keep sleeping on us. Don't tell anybody how good Carolina is. Let Field of 68 keep thinking that we're not good. And then it's going to be incredible when we go blow the doors off of everyone. Am I right? Yes. Let's go. So let's keep finding some more comments here. David Hayes agrees with me. Zayden did a lot better tonight. Yes. Jan Ennis. Henry had 1 rebound in the entire game. Yeah, we talked about that. And Jan says it's critical. That's a great word for it. That he steps it up, particularly on the offensive glass. I cannot tell you how true this is. Carolina has to be a better offensive rebounding team than they were last year. Let me look at it really quick because I took the box score away. 16 offensive rebounds. Carolina had 51 rebounds for the game to 31 for Winston-Salem State. Wow, that is pretty crazy. So, man, that's all good. T-Man, our guy T-Man says, Jarin is much better than I ever thought he would be, and follows it up with, this looks like a really fun team. And man, this is one of the things that we have to remember. We are here for the basketball, but you know what? Tar Heel family, Locked On Tar Heels community, we're here for each other. And that's supposed to be fun. We do this, yes, because we love basketball, but we do it because we want to connect with each other. That's why I do what I do of it with everyone. But I want to create a place in a community where we can be together and celebrate it and have fun. So T-Man, that is a good word. And I just want to say thank you for bringing that up. Chris Taylor says, Jaden, meaning Jaden Young, is going to be a nice spark off the bench if the starters start off slow. And you know what, Chris, I would even follow up by saying, and even if they don't, he might be a nice spark off the bench. And I'm here to say with my hand up, if that turns out to be true, boy, did I have it dead wrong. And I could not be more happy about it. I need a quick sip of water. My imagination for Jaden Young's role coming into the season, like I talked about it on his preview episode, was basically, you remember what Carolina had with Ty Claude last year, like an emergency big with, who am I thinking of from the year before? The young man from Britain that came from West Virginia, which is funny because Jonathan Powell, James Okonkwo, he was kind of the emergency big too. I thought Jaden Young, that was going to be his role because Carolina is so deep in the backcourt. But I think Jaden Young, like I'm not saying he's going to start getting like 10 to 15 minutes a game, but I think he's going to be a legit 5-7 minute a game guy. And when he's in, he's going to make a difference because he's out there, high energy, high impact. He hit a couple threes tonight, which is great because that was one of his biggest issues at Virginia Tech, low 3-point percentage. But you know what? Virginia Tech's been real bad, and they hadn't had much talent around them. And now with the talent that is surrounding Jaden Young, maybe that gives him better looks and more comfortability, and he's knocking them down. So Chris Taylor, great observation. I love to see that. Nintendo Nerd, what's up? Nintendo Nerd says, this game did convince me that as soon as Luke is created, he will be a starter. I wonder if that's a autocorrect and it's supposed to be cleared. As soon as Luke is cleared, he will be a starter, because as good as Jarin is, he's not a good enough creator to start this team off with the offense it needs. That's a great point there by Connor, the Nintendo Nerd, because Jarin has been great since he's been in. He offers defense, he offers hustle, rebounding, can shoot. But the thing that Luka is going to bring in addition to his shooting is the fact that he is a playmaker and he is savvy and he can get the team moving. Yes, he does not have the size that Jarin Stevenson has, but then that enables Jarin Stevenson to come in off the bench, first media timeout or whenever it is, because he's going to be the first big off the bench. It'll probably be him and Jonathan Powell, maybe Derek Dixon as the first guys in. That's who it was tonight. The first two guys in were Jonathan Powell and Derek Dixon. And so, yeah, you know what? I'm with you, Nintendo Nerd, on that, and I think that'll be true with that. And good. Okay, here we are. We're just over 30 minutes, and I still need to go record with Coach Rob tonight. So I want to save other observations and questions from you guys. So if you haven't yet put in what you want to put in, would you go ahead and do that? Because I'm going to get those comments copied down so that Coach Rob and I can talk about them on Thursday's show. So if I didn't get to your comment here, I'm going to get it into our notes and we'll talk about it, or your questions or observations. So don't stop spamming the comments there. Make sure we get those so that we can get back to them. All right, you guys. Great exhibition performance. Obviously, things to work on and great signs as well. That's what you want out of an exhibition, a lot of both. As a reminder, 5 days from now, Carolina does it for real against Central Arkansas. A week and 2 days from now, 9 days, Carolina hosts Kansas inside the Dean Dome. Dear goodness, please let Luka Bogavac be cleared for that game. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. Do it again. Spam the comments. # free Luka. We need him. Okay. Thanks for being here with us. It's great to be together. There's basketball happening. Carolina plays at Syracuse football Friday night. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be spooky. We'll see what happens. I dropped a show earlier today, a crossover with Locked On Syracuse host Jackson Holzer. We'll have the ACC squad show tomorrow, as well as Coach Rob's stuff. And then Friday's show will help us get ready for the game. I will do a live postcast, yes, even though it's Halloween, after the game on Friday night. So be ready for that as well. If you haven't subscribed to the show on video and audio, don't do it right now so you don't miss a second of Locked On Tar Heels this season. We'll be here with you the whole time. If you've not joined the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, we'd love to see you there. If you're not an insider, why not? I'm coming at you like just to you guys all the time, and you need to come be part of that group as well. It's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We're going to talk again tomorrow, but until then, peace.